Hey, hello. How you doing? Oh, trust me. This judge has got quite a few in the back of the courtroom today, so this could be interesting. For sure. All right, let me get this. Um,
You will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over with.
I hope you could hear it, 'cause I couldn't. Hmm. No, for some reason I'm not hearing anything. That's weird. That's weird. If I can't hear anything, then it becomes a pain. Yeah. Ah, um, how am I going to do this? Hang on.
Nope. Because if you want to see me sprout horns and a tail,
Okay, try that.
Nope.
This judge has a few one-liners that are hilarious. So yeah, he's a good sport about it. But I'm not simul streaming because I can't afford the bill for StreamYard, and I've only got StreamYard so I can go like this. Let's get going, shall we?
Unsign both of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sarah, can you chat me? Who do you have, please?
Still here on audio. Just grabbing a drink and getting ready to make my coffee.
Okay, they've been unsigned. Okay, you said Green was the last name? Is that right?
Judge Page 8.
Okay.
Garrett.
Oh, Garrett, okay.
Where are we? I've worked out a PCI.
Okay. Get ready to set it, it's gone. So, all right, are you Garrett Green?
Sir.
Mr. Green, you're charged with racing on the highway. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an
Oh, this
attorney
guy
present
was
if you cannot
going
afford one.
fast.
One will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On August 31st, 2024, law enforcement officers began to follow 3 vehicles which appeared to attempt through tunnels in Harris County, Texas. Law enforcement officers observed all 3 vehicles line across each other, slow down to 40 miles per hour and accelerate to speeds of 90 miles per hour. Law enforcement
Damn.
officers were able to get behind the defendant's vehicle and a traffic stop was initiated. Law enforcement officers made contact with the defendant driver and ID'd him with his Texas driver's license.
I mean, at
What
least
happened to
he's
the
tidy.
co-defendants? Do we know? Did any of the other people get arrested?
One
Matt,
of
do you
them's
know?
here this morning, Your Honor, his brother.
Can you bring him up? Are you representing him as well?
I'm not.
Okay, who is that? Is that,
The other Green. Unless you
I have a Kenneth Green. That's not your guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not.
I don't
Do
know.
you know, are the other ones here, Pavel? Because it may be, you know, depending on the cause number, it may get transferred elsewhere. That's why I'm at. So we need to know who the other ones are and the cause numbers.
Hayden Green. Hayden. Hayden.
He's not connected, so. let me find him.
What's your,
I believe the highway he was going up to 90 k's an hour on is like a 60k hour zone or 60 mile an hour zone. So basically, he's getting done for 30 k's over the speed limit when he was at speeds below, maybe below and up to 30 k's. They've just taken 30 k's or 30 miles an hour over the speed limit and thrown the book at him there. So, yeah.
cause number?
So that's inquiry 11,
No,
252-6823. This is 68.
See, this has got the lower cause number. May go over there.
2526
823.
Yes.
There's one more too, right?
I just know about him and his brother.
Okay. Did they catch the third person?
So nobody is connected with each other. It's gonna be difficult to find them, but, I found Aiden.
Okay,
I
so,
can see how they wouldn't file them necessarily.
Nobody is connected to each other in this case. This guy and one of the other guys are brother. That sounds like they're connected.
As co-defendants, but if it's,
it goes, I would assume it goes to court 11 then, it gets transferred to court 11. He's put an offer on the file now. I'm happy to just keep him. Don't, no.
It's just for defense.
It's a PTI class. He's already signed it, so.
Mr. Green, I want to give you a little bit of notice that the Texas legislature has made it extremely easy now for district attorneys across the state to seize and take cars for individuals who participate in these types of behavior, multiple offenses. And I've seen it. I've had people come in here and the DA seized their $60,000 car because they participate in a boneheaded race. 610 Sam Houston Tollway, this is not the right place to do it. If you want to do it, there are other places in Houston properly designated to race. On 610, on 59, that's not the place to do it. And I'm making that now a condition of your bond. If I find that you participate in any more of this behavior, guess what happens?
Stuck like Chuck.
Seizure.
No, I'm going to put you in jail.
Okay.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in jail. And then if you're unlucky enough, they'll take your car away from you, seize it permanently, and then you lose everything. So you have a lawyer. I will waive your appearance while you're on DACA, but I want you to understand that I'm not going to put up with this type of behavior. We have way too much death on the highway as it is, and I don't want it under my watch. So as it stands now, we will reset your case. We will give you time to work out the agreement, but you will be signing bond conditions that you're not to participate in any racing, street takeovers, donuts, reckless driving. And that's a very broad category, reckless driving. So if I find that you do it, you know what happens.
One more case is all it's going to take.
Okay, so we'll just have you guys have sign a reset now. I'm then going to have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and after that, you'll be free to go. All right?
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't know if the offer's been made. You've already accepted the contract. So whether it transfers, they're going to honor it regardless.
okay, so this guy's very lucky. Number one, he's dressed tidy for court. Beautiful. Number two, he lawyered up before his arraignment, before his first hearing. He's basically done enough to catch himself a break.
So I don't think you have a problem with that, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
Right this way.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you.
You too. Take care.
Right, Judge, next is page 1, Angelino, Sean.
And next I have Sarah Ritchie here for an arraignment. It's on Correa. Hi,
Morning,
Sarah.
Judge.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Sorry, I'm walking home from school, dropping my kids off.
That's okay. We're happy that you made it. Well, let me do this and then I'll hit you up next, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Is Anguiano.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Anguiano, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 29, 2024, a law enforcement officer discovered via social media that a group was hosting a parking lot takeover at 12 Point Drive in Harris County, Texas. Law enforcement officers observed the defendant's vehicle enter pit and parking lot and complete donut burnouts within
Damn, this guy getting done for donuts.
10 feet from other vehicles and bystanders. Defendant did large donuts and nearly caused a collision. A traffic stop was initiated. Law enforcement officers made contact with the defendant driver. The defendant admitted to doing donut burnouts and his vehicle had large black coats of dust around the rear bumper. The defendant was identified with his AFIS.
Mr. Angriano, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. You heard everything I told him.
Yes, sir.
Same thing applies to you. You start doing these boneheaded moves, the state will take your car away from you, seize it permanently, and it's gone. And there's nothing you can do about it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a text?
I wonder, was smoke pouring out the arse end of that car while he did the burnouts?
Driver license?
I don't.
You are not allowed to drive.
All right.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today, Mr. Anguiano. This is a promise you're going to make to me. I don't care what is going on in your life. I don't care if you need groceries. There's a burning building and you have to save 15 people. You get into a car and drive. I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time your butt gets into a car and drives. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if he
How
does
old are you?
understand, Judge.
I'm 18.
What do you do with yourself now?
I'm a server at Abuelo's Mexican restaurant.
You graduate from high school.
No,
Whose car is this?
it's my car, but everything is my mom's name.
Where is mom? Is she
Yeah.
here now?
No, she's at work. I took an Uber here from Galveston.
If I drug test you right now, what's going to show up?
Marijuana.
What else?
That's it.
I'm sending you for a drug test right now. I want to know what else is in your system. And I'm going to tell you how things are going now. We're going to do about 180. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you to start working on getting your GED.
All right.
The
sounds
next
good.
thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on you becoming a non-marijuana smoker. The next time you smoke dope, you will go into jail and I'm going to make your bond so high, your head's going to split into 3. And I'm going to keep you there until you test negative.
All right.
Do you understand?
now,
I mean, we're just banging.
That's a nice.
I will appoint your lawyer today, Mr. Angriano. What I'm going to do is I'm sending you for a drug test now. You must immediately come back after your test. If you fail to take the test, if you fail to come back, I will make your bond very, very high. You got out of jail now because I gave you a free bond. You're not going to get another one. Do you understand?
So I take a drug test and then come right back here.
Correct. And then I'm going to give you a lawyer and then we'll talk about your situation as far as drug testing and schooling is concerned. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, come up here, swear to me that you're not going to drive anymore, and then we'll have you sent for a drug test here momentarily.
Right. Got my coffee. Oh man. he's got a bunch of dicks in here today.
Okay.
Jeez.
Page 4, Campos, come on up.
Wait. Can we do Correa? That's okay. It's page 5. Guess what she has?
Oh no.
I guess let's just do it because she's here and then it's okay. What is your name, ma'am?
Elsie Correa.
Oh, you are Elsie Correa? Okay, Sarah, I want you to know you're not here alone. Your lawyer is here with you online. I don't know why the TVs aren't working. They have a mind of their own. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So you're not here alone. You are charged with possession of a gambling device. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Good morning, Mr. DeGuida. Is your client here today?
Okay, pause it to say hi to a lawyer. Go on, Judge.
Okay. Will you just let me know? And can you have him come in here, please?
I don't know where he is, he's no. Unless he's hiding the restroom or went somewhere else,
Okay,
he checked in and left.
we'll see. Okay,
I got to start showing you.
please.
Thank you.
Okay. So like I said, you're charged with possession of a gambling device. You're facing up to a year in jail and or $4,000 fine. You're going to do
dude.
probable cause. You have the
taking
right to remain
money.
silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
On August 7th, 2024, an officer conducted an investigation at a Chevron gas
Where's
station.
your lawyer gone?
Each person at the gas station received a payout in excess of 10 times a single bet or 10 times a single $1 bet. A search was executed. The officers recognized the defendant as the person who
Jeeps. So odds were 10 to 1. Damn. Wish I didn't have the cough, but it's leftover remnants from the flu, so.
paid out their winning on the 3 occasions, and she admitted to paying $80 to a customer for winnings off the device.
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm not putting any conditions on your bond. Just be careful. Do not pick up any new cases, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's misdemeanor, but it's quite a high ranking one, which is why it's in this court.
Sarah, do you guys have any questions?
No, Your Honor. No, we're good. Can her appearance be waived for the next few settings?
Yeah, I will waive your appearance so you don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Sarah. She'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If she tells me she cannot get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. So just don't pick up any new cases and just stay in contact. What are we looking for a date?
November 5 through the 7th.
November 5th through the 7th, Sarah.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me look real quick. I guess I'll take November 6th.
Okay, so I will have you sign a reset now, and then after that, you're free to go, man. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Right this way.
Right, that's an odd one because it's also if she's at work as a teller or a clerk for a grocery chain or something like that, and she's taking the bets for the machine on the side and paying them out, then it becomes a lot closer to fraud. And that's a rough old charge.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Thanks, Sarah. Have fun.
Thanks. Bye.
Have the Arabic interpreter.
Oh, okay. Can we see the
Ms. Bahat, are you our interpreter?
Yes, I'm the Arabic interpreter here.
Great. Thank you so much for coming.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, we've got an Arabic
Oh,
case.
come on.
All right, Judge, page 12. Lopez.
Lopez Osegura.
I thought Lopez was his last name, but no. I'm not even going to pronounce that. Oh gosh, Mr. Pineapple himself.
Go ahead and sign, please.
You are Edgar Lopez Osegura.
Yes.
You were charged with driving while intoxicated. You were facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
The interpreter who's next to him is the most common one seen in this court, and he's a real-time interpreter, so he's interpreting while they're talking, so they don't have to pause every, I don't know, 5 words or so.
You have the right to have an attorney present during any questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir. Okay.
On September 1st, 2024, law enforcement officers observed the defendant's vehicle running a red light with no lights on at the 7100 block of Airline Drive, which is a public road in Harris County, Texas. A traffic stop was initiated. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant driver. The law enforcement officer observed strong odor of alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, glossy red eyes, and disorientation. The defendant admitted to consuming 8 to 9 Corona 7-ounce beer bottles, standard fill
Not high percentage beers, but damn.
sobriety tests were administered, in which the officer observed 6 out of 6 clues for the horizontal gaze test, 3 out of 8 clues for walk and turn, and 1 out of 4 for one leg stand. The defendant was read his DIC and he consented to a breath test. The results were a 0.102 and 0.097. An inventory conducted on the defendant. The law enforcement officer observed 2 open containers on the driver's floorboard. The defendant was identified with his Honduras passport.
So he had alcohol in the car while he's driving?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that changes it. Oh, even though they're only, I think they're 4.5% or something like that, ABV, I wouldn't drive after having one of them if I could help it. Seven of them, and there was unopened in the vehicle. Jeez.
You know, Mr. Lopez Segura, I would hope that you understand that you should not have alcohol in the car while you're driving. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
No.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Sin permiso. Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail?
¿Qué pasa si usted va a la cárcel?
No sé.
I don't know.
Bullshit. Everybody knows what happens if you're in the country without permission and you go to jail. Everybody.
You're not in this country with permission.
No está en el país con permiso.
If you go to jail, immigration, they sweep the jail on a daily basis. If they find you in there, they will put an immigration detainer on you. You will be stuck in jail until this case is over with, and then you'll be shipped off to immigration. And I'm going to tell you that anytime you have alcohol in the car while you're driving, it's a minimum of 5 days in jail. To any punishment that you do, you are now alleged to have alcohol in the car. So it's a minimum of 5 days in jail to anything that you do in this case. I guarantee you do 5 days, you will get an immigration detainer. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to drive any motor vehicle whatsoever for any reason. You will be signing a promise with me today, Mr. Lopez. If I find that you drive and I don't care what your excuse is, I will put you in jail for a very long time. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you consume alcohol, likewise, you will go to jail. We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Does he have any prior DWIs by chance? No? I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, I will get you to Victoria where you will sign a reset. We're going to give you time to go hire a lawyer. After that, you will eventually meet with pretrial for your bond conditions. Look at me. No tomas y no manejes o te pongo en la cárcel inmediatamente. ¿Entiendes, Méndez? Come on.
All right, so the next Spanish speaker is page 16. Pacheco.
Yeah. Judge finishes it off with a little Spanish. I can't wait to see this Arab thing.
And the co-defendant is Vasquez on page 21.
Oh, thank you so much. I missed a page, Victoria.
Oh, have we brought Mama to court? Have we brought Mama to court, or have we brought a co-defendant?
Page 16 and 21.
Well, here's one we haven't seen in a while.
He's been a relatively good boy up until now. This guy's shown up before, but that was like I think 2 or 3 months ago now.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Both of you are charged with public lewdness.
Whatever that is.
This is a Class A misdemeanor. You are facing up to a year in jail and/or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
September 1st, 2024, officers were dispatched to 4220 Bissonnet regarding a criminal trespass incident. Police dispatch advised that the homeowner arrived at his residence and discovered a red Toyota Corolla parked on his driveway with 2 occupants inside the vehicle. The homeowner told the occupants to leave if they did not comply. The officer arrived at the location and discovered the red Toyota was parked on the resident's driveway. The vehicle engine was off, and the vehicle's front right passenger window was rolled down. The officer approached the vehicle and observed a female, the co-defendant, laying on the front passenger seat, and a male, the other defendant, laying on top of her.
So trespassing while having fun? Okay.
Front passenger seat was reclined all the way back. The co-defendant's lower body was nude with her vagina exposed. The other defendant's lower body was nude as well, with his erected penis exposed and touching the co-defendant near her vagina. Officers ordered both individuals to stop their actions and exit the vehicle. The individuals did not comply and they continued with their actions. Both defendants
I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face. The judge is just cracked.
Really?
Both defendants were detained. Both individuals were intoxicated with
Looks like the judge might have some personal knowledge of this kind of activity.
slurred speech and red glossy eyes. Both individuals could not keep their balance and needed assistance walking. Both defendants were secured in the back seats of the vehicles. The homeowner said he arrived at home at approximately 1:15 a.m. The homeowner said that he did not know the individuals and he saw a male and a female kissing while sitting on the front right passenger seat.
Okay, this is trespassing and I guess public indecent disposure, but yeah, it's got some kind of exposure.
I am going to find that there's probable cause to go forward in both of your cases, and I would hope that you would recognize that this is something that's supposed to be a private event between both of you and not to display it to the entire world.
hacerlo a todo el mundo.
I am now making it a condition on both of you guys
Condición
not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test each of you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol, I'm going to put you in jail or illegal drugs. Likewise, I'm ordering you not to have sex in public. If you're going to have any kind of relations, do it indoors.
dentro.
Do you understand?
Sí, sí,
Yes.
sí, disculpe.
Tell me,
Sorry.
are both of you United States citizens?
¿Ciudadanos estadounidenses?
Perdón.
¿Es ciudadano estadounidense, sí o no?
No, 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 grande.
Mr. Vasquez, are you here with or without permission in this country?
Without permission.
Ms. Pacheco, are you here with or without permission?
Her last name, Pacheco. That sounds wrong considering the circumstances.
Without permission.
Do you know what happens if you go to jail?
¿Saben qué es lo que les pasa? Puede pasar si van a la cárcel.
Perdón, sí, disculpe. Sí,
Do you know what happens if you go to jail?
Si va a la cárcel.
no, 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 no sabe.
No, I don't know.
Es okay.
Come on, mate. I'm sure everyone knows what happens if you go to jail, if you're in a country without permission. Because every country tends to do it.
Piense,
That's it.
¿qué pasa si tú,
Well, at least every country in the Western world.
si te ponen en la cárcel?
Disculpe, señor juez, la verdad que cometimos una disculpe.
I'm trying to give you a warning,
Estoy tratando
and
de
I want you to think
advertencia
about it.
que piensen
If you go to
que
jail,
si
Es un
van a la
castigo.
cárcel, it's,
Es un
like
castigo.
a punishment.
no. If you go to jail,
Si usted va a la cárcel,
immigration will find you.
migración lo encontrará.
They will put a detainer on each of you. You will be stuck in jail for the next 6 to 9 months,
6 a 9.
waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do to you. You cannot bond out, and you will be stuck there for about the next 9 months.
9
If you do not want this to happen, do not violate the conditions I've set forth now.
Okay, I think we've got it. No more sex in public, guys.
This is the only warning you will get from me. I'm not going to do it again. If you're incapable of having relations indoors,
Especially in Harris County, Texas.
then you'll be doing it in the jail.
Lo harán en la cárcel.
Do each of you understand?
Cada uno de ustedes entiende?
Sí, entendemos.
Yes, we understand.
Tell me, so you're representing only this gentleman? Okay. Ms. Pacheco,
Señora Pacheco,
tell me about yourself. Do you work?
¿trabaja? ¿Trabaja?
Sí,
Yes.
What do you do, ma'am?
¿Qué tipo de trabajo hace?
remodelación.
Remodeling.
Do you have children?
¿Tiene hijos?
Un-
One.
Where is this child?
Guatemala.
Okay. What kind of income do you earn?
Eso, ¿qué cantidad de ingresos recibe?
500.
500.
How much a month?
¿Cuánto al mes?
2000.
2000.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am?
No.
Let's do this. I want you to fill out an application for me, and I'll determine whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer or not. As it stands now, each of you do not violate these conditions.
Ustedes no violan esa-
I will put you in jail. Do you get no more warning? I told them no more alcohol, no more dope, because they're intoxicated. Not only that,
Solamente
who's driving?
quien condució
It's a red
es
truck. Is that your truck
rojo. ¿Es suyo? el
It's a
carro?
or a Corolla? No driving. You do not have a Texas driver license. I am now making that a condition as well.
Eso no-
Mr. Vasquez, if I find that you drive, likewise, you will go to jail. I don't care what your excuse is. Guys, I will have you sign a reset with Victoria. Both of you will also sign a promise with me that you're not to drive. After that, both of you will meet with pretrial, sign your bond conditions. And after that, Mr. Vasquez will release you to your lawyer. Ms. Pacheco, we will have you take a seat in the jury box while we review your application.
Oh man, these guys got done big time. Number one, they were parked where they probably shouldn't be parked. Number two, intoxicated. I mean, how else do you have sex in public? And number three, they were pretty much well into the part of it where judge goes.
But now, I mean, we're just banging.
So, yeah. And to top it off, it looks like he's got the same lawyer that he had a few months ago, and she doesn't have a lawyer.
Please, guys. Thank you.
Vasquez will go there first for the no driving application. And then Pacheco.
Man, there must have been some stank in that car.
Yeah. Hey. You've got it, Judge.
At least the window was open.
Reminds me of that one song, Steamy Windows. Was it, what's her name? Who sang that? Steamy Windows. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. Tina Turner. That's it.
There you go.
Stop. Don't even go there.
Man.
Come up, Mr. Guide. I know that you have somewhere to go. Okay. Do you want to do that now?
Yes, I was gonna say, if I could just run and.
Yeah, whatever you need to do. Happy to do it.
Set to 1, and then that'll give us time to complete the clip.
Oh, wait. Say that again?
At 10 o'clock, the TRO.
Okay.
To straight and get it moved to 1, so we can do the clip.
Okay. Yeah, happy to do it. Take your time. Yeah, for sure.
I'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe excuse.
Right, Judge, you ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
All right, page 4, Campos, Alfredo, come on up.
So, did you get all the conditions, those two? Yeah, and just the no sex in public, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the weirdest conditions they ever put on someone.
And you can waive the fees on everything as well, please, on everything. Vic, what page?
Page 4.
Are you Alfredo Campos? Mr. Campos, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Hey, after this, Vic, let's do the translator, huh? On page 1. Arabic. Okay. All right. You ready? Please.
On August 30th, 2024, a traffic stop was initiated for failure to signal a turn at 2 different intersections. An officer noticed the slurred speech, glossy eyes, strong odor of alcoholic beverage, and poor balance.
All typical symptoms.
The defendant was observed leaving the Danny's Tavern Bar, where the defendant advised that he had one to 3 Corona beers prior to driving.
He had a few more than that.
The defendant is underage, 20 years old. One open container of the 12-ounce Corona was found in the front center console cup holder, which was 3/4
Drinking
full.
while driving.
The beer was 3/4 full and cold to touch. Standard field sobriety test showed 6 out of 6 signs for the horizontal gaze test. The defendant refused the walk and turn and the one leg stand test.
Probably for half decent reasons, to be honest. But yeah, this guy ain't just a dick. This guy's a drunk dick.
The defendant refused to provide a sample of his breath or blood. The defendant also refused to sign the DIC. Blood search warrant was issued.
What kind of criminal history does he have? Does he have any prior DWIs?
He has no criminal history.
What's his driver license like? Valid? Insurance?
Mr. Campos, I want you to understand something, that it's damn elementary for you not to have alcohol in the car while you're driving. I am finding probable cause and I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle for any reason, and you will now be signing an affidavit with me today. This is a promise you're going to make to me now that you're not to drive. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. You cannot justify any reason for driving. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You will be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I hope you heed this warning, because if I catch you driving, I'm going to grow horns and a tail, and I'm going to let loose on you. Do you understand?
Oh, Judge, you got it wrong.
Because if you want to see me sprout horns and a tail,
That's how it should be said.
I will have you sign this affidavit with me now. We're going to get you to Victoria sign a reset. You must get a lawyer. We're going to reset your case for a couple weeks. When you come back, please have a lawyer. After that, you'll get with pre-trial for your bond conditions and you'll be free to leave. Do not pick up any new cases. Don't drink, and especially don't drive.
Blimey. Judge had the same thought I did.
Page 1, top of page 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Asalkini, come
Just
up.
doing the translator that's been sitting patiently on Zoom.
Good morning.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
I have a
Good morning.
translator here for you.
أنا مترجمة راح أكون متواجدة معك.
Okay.
You were charged with assault of a family member.
عندك تهمة إنه أنت اعتديت على واحد من أفراد عائلتك.
You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
ممكن تبقى سنة بالسجن وتدفع كفالة $4,000 بسبب هذا الشيء.
We are going to do probable cause.
راح نشوف شنو السبب بهذه القضية.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
عندك الحق إنه تبقى ساكت لأن أي شيء تتكلم به ممكن يستخدم ضدك في المحكمة.
You have the right to have an attorney present.
عندك الحق أن يكون عندك محامي متمثل.
If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
إذا ما عندك الفرصة إنه تكلف محامي يحضر، نقدر إحنا نكلف المحكمة إنه تجيب لك محامي.
Okay.
On August 31st, 2024,
في يوم 31 من الشهر الثامن من السنة الفائتة،
the deputy was dispatched to meet the citizen or to a meet the citizen call at a Whataburger.
I'm waiting for the prosecutor to say April Fools, because April 1st. I want this to be April Fools so bad.
اللي صار انه واحد من الشرطة او الضباط ارسلوا الى واتابرجر اللي هو مطعم
at 1225 Fry Road in Katy, Harris County, Texas.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that address for me?
The complainants are sisters and the defendant is their father.
المدعى عليهم هم أخوة والمعتدي في هذه الحالة هم والدهم.
The complainant stated that on August 18, 2024, the defendant, their father, assaulted them just because they overslept.
Okay.
والمدعى عليهم أو المدافعين قرروا أنه في يوم 18 من الشهر الثامن صار عليهم اعتداء من قبل والدهم لأن هم بقوا نايمين لفترة طويلة.
Because they overslept during daytime hours in their home.
لأن هم بقوا فترة طويلة نائمين في أوقات النهار.
When the complainants woke up, the defendant was holding a belt.
The prosecutor got carried away. This is the time when it's post translation. Real-time translations when the guy's standing there beside him in his ear. Sometimes they're standing there and they can't do real time. They've got to hear what's been said, take a couple seconds to process it and then say it, which is how you get these janky little cuts.
المعتدى عليهم عندما استيقظوا من النوم شافوا أن المعتدي بإيده حزام.
Arabic is not easy to learn and it's not easy to speak, so she's doing fairly well.
And the defendant became aggressive with the complainants.
والمتهجم عليهم أصبح نوعا ما وحشيا معهم بالتعامل.
One of the complainants tried to leave the house when the defendant struck her.
واحدة من المدعى عليهم قالت أنه كان لازم أنه تطلع من البيت عندما حصل هذا الاعتداء.
The defendant struck her.
I mean, they've taken notes so diligently. There's going to be no other outcome.
With the front.
But there's going to be no other outcome for this guy apart from probably a good kick in the bum.
Door, causing pain and a laceration on her forehead.
المدعى عليها ذكرت أن المتهجم عليها في لحظة من الأوقات ضربها بالباب وسبب لها كدمة ونوعا من الخدوش على منطقة الجبهة أو الجبين.
The defendant then grabbed a hanger and began to strike her on her thighs.
وبدأ المتهجم عليها أنه جاب نوع من التعلاقات أو شيء وضربها على منطقة الأفخاذ.
The strike to the thighs caused bruising to the complainant.
الضربات المتتالية على منطقة الفخذ سببت رضوض وكدمات.
The complainant ran from the house.
Number one, I would hate this guy to be in the same house as me. Because I work some stupid hours and a lot of night hours. And if I'm asleep during the day and this guy did this, if I didn't kill him, I would damn near kill him.
To get away from the defendant.
المعتدى عليها حاولت أنه تطلع من المنزل بسبب المتهجم.
And ran to a neighbor's door and asked for help.
And if I did kill him or got charged with anything, I'd be happy to do the time. Just because the top part of his shirt speaks well to it. The top part of his shirt shit brown. This piece of shit needs to learn. People need sleep. Sometimes people need sleep during daylight hours.
وركضت إلى أحد من بيوت الجيران وطلبت المساعدة.
The second complainant stated that the defendant asked her if she wanted to follow her sister.
المعتدى عليها الثانية ذكرت أنه المتهجم ذكر لها أنه إذا تريد هي هم تلحق أختها الثانية.
The second complainant said yes and tried to walk out of the door.
والمدعية الثانية أو اللي متهجم عليها ذكرت أنه قالت نعم وبدت تنطلق لاتجاه الباب.
The defendant grabbed her to prevent her from leaving.
بعدين المتهجم لزمها ومنعها من الخروج من المنزل.
And punched her in the left eye with a closed fist, causing pain.
وضربها بلكمة أو بقبضة.
We only have one assault.
We only have one assault.
في هذه الحالة عندنا اعتداء واحد. ليش؟
Both complainants have visible injuries and took photos after the incident.
المدعين في هالقضية اثنيناتهم عندهم إصابات وعندهم صور لهذه الإصابات.
The defendant and his son stated that there was no physical contact.
المتهجم وابنه ادعوا أن
no physical contact, and yet there's lacerations and bruises. I don't think they know what the word physical means.
إنه ماكو أي خلينا نقول تلامس جسدي.
But the defendant admitted to being upset.
لكن المدعين ذكروا أنهم أو المتهجمين ذكروا أنهم كانوا ضايجين نوعا ما أو زعلانين من الموضوع.
Because the complainants were still asleep during the daytime.
لأن المدعين ذكروا أنهم كانوا نايمين بوقت النهار مثل ما ذكر.
All of this just because of oversleeping.
كل هذا اللي حصل فقط لأنه
Such a shame.
زيادة بالنوم للأطفال.
I'm finding probable cause on your case.
شنو السبب أو السبب بهذه القضية.
And I want you to know.
أريدك تعرف.
I will protect every single person of Harris County.
راح أدافع عن كل شخص موجود بمقاطعة هاريس.
I don't care if it's your daughter, your son, your mother, grandmother.
أنا ما أهتم إذا هذا الشخص ابنك، بنتك، بيبيتك أو أي شخص ثاني.
If I find that you lay a hand on any single person ever again,
إذا عرفت إنه أنت ماد إيدك على أي شخص مهما يكون راح أحاسبك على هالشيء.
I will lock you up so fast your head will spin and explode.
راح أخليك بالسجن بسرعة بحيث أنت ما تستوعب هالشيء بحيث راسك يفتر.
As it stands now, there is a protective order that has been issued in this case.
حسب الموجود حاليا أكو أمر بعدم التعرض موجود بالقضية.
I am ordering you not to have contact with either of the complaining witnesses in this case.
بأنطيك الأمر أنه ما يصير أي تلامس بينك وبين المدعين في هذه القضية.
There is a protective order. So if you should so much as even have a text message or a 1-second phone call.
إذا صار أي نوع من التواصل بينك وبيناتهم لأن أكو الأمر بعدم التعرض سواء كانت ثانية من الاتصال أو أي تكست مسج أو رسالة نصية.
I believe the complainants live in the house.
I don't care. There's a protective order. He cannot go back to the house.
أنت ما تقدر ترجع للبيت لأن أكو أمر بعدم التعرض.
I mean, I understand if you've already spoken to them. I don't care.
أنا عارفة أنتوا حاكين وياهم وأنا ما يهمني أنا ما أقبل منك إنه تروح لذاك البيت.
You are not to go within 200 feet.
لازم ما تروح بقربهم المسافة 200 قدم.
5918 Coyote Echo Drive in Katy.
تقول بالعنوان اللي هو 5918 كويوتي.
Do you understand?
تفتهم هالشيء؟
If you violate this, the state will file additional charges against you.
إذا ما تقيدت بهذه الأوامر الولاية راح تحكم عليك بشغلات إضافية لازم تلتزم بيها.
For
I'm just
now,
setting
I
up
will
another
have you
auto
sign a reset
spray.
with Victoria.
حاليا راح أخليك نتوقع أوراق ويا فيكتوريا،
After that, I'm gonna have you take a seat in the jury box.
وبعد هالشي راح أخليك تقعد بصندوق المحلفين.
I'm going to have additional bond conditions for you to sign.
وراح يكون عندي شروط إضافية للكفالة في هذه القضية لك حتى توقعها.
Those bond conditions are no contact and no weapons.
الشروط الكفالة هي أنه لازم ما تكون بحوزتك أي أسلحة، ولازم ما تتعرض لذول الأشخاص نهائياً.
That will survive the entirety of this case.
لأن هذه الشغلة الوحيدة اللي راح تطلعك من هالقضية.
You know, my kids
قلت
wake up
تعرف أنا
every
عندي
morning
أطفال
5 in the
يقعدون
morning,
كل يوم،
and I wish they would oversleep.
وأني أتمنى إذا ينامون شوية زايد،
I can't even get a good night's sleep.
لأن أني ما أنام زين مرات بالليل.
And here you are, because this.
وأنت موجود هاليوم ويانا بسبب هالشي.
I wonder if those kids walk on eggshells around you.
أني أتفاجأ إذا هذول الأطفال ما يمشون على رؤوس أصابعهم يمك بهالحالة.
Do they live in fear of making daddy mad for any reason?
هم عايشين برعب وخوف إن هم يضوجون والدهم لأي سبب.
If they do, I sure feel bad for them.
إذا هذه حالتهم فأني زعلان كلش عليهم.
It's no way to live in constant fear.
هذه مو وضعية إن الواحد يعيش بخوف متلازم أو دائم.
I feel for the kids too. And I'll put it nice. The best thing to do is to separate them. After 6 months, maybe a year, if all parties agree, they can visit, they can have contact, but separate them. Because otherwise, this idiot is just going to end up killing those kids for some arbitrary reason that he thinks is legitimate.
We'll have you sign your reset and then take a seat in the jury box.
روح وقع هذه الأوراق وبعدين اقعد بالصندوق مال المحلفين.
اوكي بس ممكن سؤال؟
Would I ask you a question, Your Honor?
Let's do this. You have a lawyer.
قول عندك محامي.
عندي بس ما بعرف، هو هذا سؤالي، ما بعرف ليش ما اجى.
He's saying I have it, but I don't know why he's not present today.
We will wait for them to come.
راح ننتظر إنه يجي.
It's early. They may be here. They may get here in half an hour or an hour.
عادل من وقت بلكت يجي بعد نص ساعة أو ساعة.
Does this guy understand a little English, or does he understand a lot of English and not showing it because it could get him treated better in court?
We will wait for them to arrive, but regardless, I'm going to have you sign these bond conditions, and we'll just wait for your lawyer to arrive as well.
وراح نقدر ننتظر إنه يوصل، بس في كل الأحوال لازم تروح توقع هذه الأوراق اللي اشترطنا عليك بيها.
Away.
Okay.
States.
What an idiot. Beating the kids for oversleeping in the daytime. I'll put it nice. If I was doing night shift and I was 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. and then I come home and I go to sleep and he's trying to beat on me an hour later, who's going to be the dead person? Seriously.
So guys, can you file no contact, no weapons? Also on the reckless driving, we have several of those. I think, can you also file conditions on both of those cases that we did earlier? No racing, reckless driving, donuts. Thanks.
If the no driving affidavit was signed with.
That's just for driving purposes.
Okay.
I guess that would cover that one.
Yeah.
But if we could do the other one, please. It was the first case I think we did with Matt. Okay.
council is here for page 6, Estrada.
Do you mind just hanging on in the event that the lawyer, when they get here, I guess we'll just let you go. Do you have somewhere else to go or something else to do? right
No, I'm available for your honor. I don't have anything, so
Yeah, we'll
absolutely.
wait just a little bit and then.
Sure,
hopefully,
absolutely.
Right.
No problem.
Page 6 and 7,
Oh,
Estrada.
hello. He's tidy.
Good morning, Mr. Estrada. You were here for Mr. Levine.
Yes, Your Honor. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good, good.
Mr. Estrada, you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. On the gun case, you're facing up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probably.
So if these cases aren't run concurrently on top of each other, they are going to net him a good amount of love and time.
Will cause you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
On September 1st, 2024, law enforcement officers observed the defendant's vehicle traveling at 62 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone at 6300 block of Highway 6 in Harris County, Texas. Slowing upon reaching a red light, suddenly turning without signal and continuing for approximately 100 feet. A traffic stop was attempted.
Okay, that's not typical DWI stuff, but I can see how that's the effects of alcohol.
The defendant ran multiple red lights while traveling at approximately 100 miles per hour and
Ouch! 100 miles an hour. That's fast.
40 to 45 miles per hour zones. A felony stop conducted after the defendant surrendered. The law enforcement officer located a Glock 19 handgun wedged between the driver's seat and center console in plain view. The law enforcement officer also observed red glossy eyes, slurred speech. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, to which the officer observed 6 out of 6 signs for the horizontal gaze test, 3 out of 8 signs for the walk and turn test, and 0 out of 4 for the one leg stand test. The law enforcement officer requested that the defendant state his alphabets from A to M, to which the defendant incorrectly stated alphabets with letters C, E, and D.
Oh. Okay, so he got his alphabets mixed up. And I bet you if his lawyer wasn't there, his thing is, I had a shit day. I was just cutting loose before I got home. Yeah. Yeah. You know how often I want to cut loose before I get home? All the time. Now how often I hold it in until I get home and then I cut loose and maybe have a cold one. These days it's about once or twice a week. It's not regular.
The defendant was read DIC and he consented to a breath test. The results were 0.085 and 0.085 again. The defendant was also identified with his Texas driver's license.
Any prior DWIs?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Estrada, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive for any reason. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months every time you drive.
Damn. This judge is just taking away the keys today.
You understand? You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what your excuse is. You can't justify any reason. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or dope, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand? You have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with them. They will tell you when you have to come back to court. You pick up a new case, consume any kind of dope or alcohol, and the worst possible thing you can do in this short life we have is get into a car and drive, because you will be given a lengthy jail sentence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have you come up here, swear test you're not gonna drive. We'll get you to sign a reset. You'll get with pre-trial for your bond conditions, then you guys are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, guys.
Straightforward,
Dave.
simple.
There was a murder case yesterday that they were gonna ask for us to arraign.
I mean, I saw that there were multiple Louisiana rules. I don't know the second ones that actually filed. Obviously, the murder came to Ireland. But it's gonna have some carryover.
Have to mag him so that they don't.
I mean, if they're below, they can back down there, but if he doesn't. I mean, effectively, if he doesn't, then he's gonna be. Yeah. Until he leaves. Default is on.
Okay,
Sorry, Your Honor, may I reapproach briefly on Mr. Estrada?
sure.
Would the court consider allowing him to drive with an interlock installed? I believe.
He's going 100 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. You're lucky you didn't hit and kill someone, Mr. Estrada. I want you to appreciate the privilege of driving. It's not a right. It's a privilege. And at 140, hell no.
Ooh. So he was going 60 miles over the speed limit. Nice. What an absolute twat.
Judge case 4, Caesar, come on up.
What page you say?
4,
We're still on page 4?
I know.
Darn it. We haven't moved.
Caesar. Yeah. Are you Kevin Caesar?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Caesar, you're charged with illegal
Looks like he likes a few Caesar salads.
dumping. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
And what the hell's this York Band 212 bullshit on your t-shirt for? I mean, it's not the worst I've seen, but darn. Don't you have a t-shirt without anything on it? Would have looked better.
On July 27, 2022, the defendant was seen on surveillance video illegally dumping 4 automobile tires on the side of the road. That is not an approved landfill.
And that's all? Just 4 automobile tires on the side of the road and not at the landfill? Or not in the transfer station? I mean, could have dumped him outside his house, taken a photo, put it on Facebook and said, I don't need these and they're taking up room, come get them. Free. And someone would have come by and picked them up for sure.
Okay. Mr. Caesar, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a Texas driver license, sir?
Yes, it's at the house.
Can you run his license, please? See if he has an eligible license. Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Oh, no, it was in my brother's name, in one of his trucks.
Do you have liability insurance in your name? Then you're not allowed to drive.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm making that a condition of your bond. If
Yes,
you
sir.
have a valid Texas driver license and you get liability insurance that says Kevin Caesar and the actual car that you're driving, I'll allow you to drive.
Okay.
But until I know that and you come and show it to me, do not drive. Otherwise, you will go to jail for a very long time.
Uh-oh.
Do you understand?
What have they been caught up for?
Tell me, what do you do with yourself these days? Okay, so you work full-time or what?
Every day.
How much money do you make a month?
It goes to 35 a month.
How much?
35 a month.
3,500.
Sir.
Okay, we're gonna reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer.
Sir.
I really hope that you understand, when I mean no driving, I absolutely mean it. If you drove here, you may not drive home.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And it's a good place to keep the car parked at the courthouse parking lot, because the sheriff can take it and lock it away, keep it safe for you. You're gonna just have to pay storage fees.
How do you spell your last name? Is it
C-E-A.
C-A-E?
C-E-A-S-A-R.
That is right, C-A-C-E-A.
S-A-R.
Okay.
So he's spelt like the salad. Exactly like the salad, Your Honor. And he looks like he's full of word salad too. He's just held it back today. Wonder when he's going to explode, because people full of word salad tend to have a point they reach when they explode. And it's hilarious.
You don't have a Texas driver license. Okay, then you can't drive anyways. Don't
Yes, sir.
drive, Mr. Caesar.
Yes, sir.
You drive. I'll tell you what happens.
You will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over with.
That's what happens if you drive.
I mean, I don't know how you're gonna do this if you got a lawn service, how are you gonna get from point A to point B?
How about if we both be driving
Okay,
most of the time?
just, you better ride shotgun.
Yes,
All right, I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I'm gonna get you to Victoria to sign a reset. We're gonna get you out of here to hire a lawyer, sir.
Next is page 6. Cuello, C-U-E-L-L-O.
John Paul.
Hey, John.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here on Mr. Quello.
Jerry?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Quello, I'm going to tell you now that I think your bond is wholly insufficient with regard to how many times you've taken off on us. Your case is 1,072 days old, and you've taken off on us at least 4 different times. A $3,000 bond is insufficient. Your bond should be at least $10,000.
I got a job.
You get my drift?
Sir.
You're charged with assault of a family member. Like I said, your case is 1,072 days old. I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to your lawyer to figure out what we're going to do, but we figure out today what happens with your case. Do you understand? I guess, can you put him in back and let him use the phone? Can I give you the number, John?
Yes, please, Judge.
It's, I'm going to chat it to you.
Thank you.
He's lucky he's got a lawyer, because otherwise this
he goes
bond
back
would
there.
be
Right.
10,000 plus easily. Absconded 4
Hey,
times.
is it 3198? For the number for John to call. 98? Do you guys have an offer on this case?
Because Judge, 6 months PTI offer has been made previously.
Are you keeping it?
I'm going to go double check with the complainant right now, and if she has still no objections, then.
Okay.
Yes.
They made a 6-month PTI offer on this case. Did you all, the time served as well, or what?
Yes, Judge, I will consider it.
Okay. But John Paul, I don't know if I'm down to just let him you know, but just call back and see what you guys want to do and let me know, okay?
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Thanks, bud. Who's next?
Page 7.
If he takes, if they had time served and he takes the plea deal, he's getting one hell of a deal. I'll just say that right now. That is actually a really good deal. If he doesn't, he's likely to lose his job and spend the next 8 months in the slammer.
Blaze, come on up.
Oh, we've got the best dad ever now. Jeez. I wonder what the hell he's done. Best dad ever in court.
Good morning, Mr. Glaze.
Sir, how you doing?
Mr. Glaze, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On July 4th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an address and spoke with a complainant who is the defendant's mother, who said that he has been harassing her. She explained that he came to her apartment, forcefully banged and kicked on her front door, causing damage. The complainant stated that the cost to repair the door would be $200 and that she felt threatened and was in fear of her and her family's life.
There you go. That guy's just won the best dad ever prize. Right there. Go to your baby mama's door and bash it in.
The defendant explained that his mother lied on him.
So it's mom.
Yes.
She want him around or no?
So according to the RIP call, she said that she doesn't want a protective order. She thinks that the defendant, she's going through some stuff and hurt people. So she's okay with this.
Just hurts people. That's what she said.
Hurt people hurts people. Yeah. That might be partially true, but shit people hurt people.
You better not.
Never that, sir. It's never that. It's...
I'm issuing a protective order regardless. I want you to understand that I'm finding her. Let me see. It is Katrina Glaze as a protected individual. Sorry, Katina Glaze as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person, commit an act or furtherance of an offense under section 42.072, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass,
or freeze frame.
You cannot use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, this guy's got attitude. Attitude problems, big time.
Now, you have already missed court once. This is your second PR bond. 3 strikes. Guess what happens? Right. You miss court again. You will not get another PR bond.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Glaze, tell me what you do with yourself these days.
I was doing hot shotting when they I was in San Angelo when they took me in basically.
What the hell's all that bullshit?
I was out there for like five, 6 days. Then Harris County came and got me from out there. But I do hot shot, do trucking.
So you drive for a living?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
Run his license, please. Do you have insurance in your name?
It's just through my family's.
No.
He does not have no Texas driver's license. I think Louisiana driver's license maybe, but not Texas.
No. Does the insurance say Devontae Kentrell Glaze? Then you can't drive. You ain't got no license. You don't have insurance.
It's a business with my family, so it's two people. It's my uncle's truck, but I help drive. I got to drive.
It kind of gets that way a little bit. But yeah, there's been the judge is taking a bunch of keys off the people today. Just idiots behind the wheel, I tell you.
I need to know that you're also insured before we're going to let you drive though. I want to see that your name is on the insurance policy. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How much money do you make a month, Mr. Blaze?
I'm honestly betting this guy doesn't have a Texas driver's license. Yep. I'll put a nice, it's 10 to 12 here. So, yeah. It is a bit late over there.
Probably about 5, 6.
6,000
a month.
5,000 to 6,000 a month. That's a bullshit pay. Or being a trucker.
Yeah. Take care of my kid. Go to work. Same thing. Can't do nothing right now because I got a warrant right now in Harris County. So he don't want me driving right now. So I can't drive right now.
I'm not asking you to do anything but follow the law, Mr. Blaze. I'm not asking you to split the atom.
I'm just what it is right now.
Just get insurance. And if you show me that you have insurance, I'll let you drive.
Yes, sir. So I can't drive right now?
No, you don't have insurance.
Come on, man. Jeez, Judge. You're taking my freedom away. I can't travel.
Mr. Glaze, get insurance and I'll let you drive. It's not.
What? Insurance? Maybe cost you $50 a week? That's liability insurance, bruh.
That's it.
It's not my truck. It's not mine.
You can get non-owners operators insurance with your name
It's
on
not
it.
like a CDL's truck. It's a regular truck. It's his.
It's still a 4,000-pound missile that can hurt and injure someone. And if you get into an accident while you're driving and you're not insured, what happens to the other people? They're hosed. No insurance company is going to give them money because you're not part of the policy.
They're hosed.
All I'm trying to do is protect everyone in Harris County in the event that you get into an accident. They don't happen they're not on purposements. They're accidents.
Although, I would argue that a lot of accidents have been created on purpose. So, yeah. If this guy's thrown for a drug test, what's he going to turn positive for? He's been tweaking the whole time.
Didn't she say she ain't personal charges or something?
This guy's on something. He's been tweaking out the whole time. Could be crack. I'm just waiting for the judge to order him into a drugs test because something's gonna light up bright red. It's obvious to see.
I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive without insurance. If you get it, come back to me. Show me that you have insurance with your name on it. I'll take this away. All right? Mr. Glaze, do you want to apply for an appointed lawyer? Okay, do you mind giving an application, please?
Yeah, shame you didn't chuck a drug test in there too. I swear it would have come back and you would have been chasing that rabbit hole as well, Judge.
Thank you. He's going to first swear that he's not going to drive, and then he goes to sign a reset with Victoria.
All right, Judge, next is page 11.
Oh, we're off page 4 now.
You know what, Ms. Bahat? Why don't we do this? Instead of you just waiting, you want to chat me your cell phone, and when they get here, I can reach out to you? It'd be easier
Absolutely.
so you don't just sit here wasting your time.
No problem. Absolutely. That'll
Yeah,
work.
if you want to
Thank
just chat me your cell phone, and then I can, I'll text you when the lawyer gets here, huh?
Sounds great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
For sure. Good morning, Mr. Kozlowski. Morning. So you're charged with assault of a family member.
Yes, sir.
Facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000.
This guy reminds me of some cartoon character. His head is way smaller than the rest of his body.
$1,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On April 1st, 2024, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched to a domestic disturbance. The officer met with the complainant. The complainant and the defendant have a child together.
Oh my lord.
The defendant and the complainant got into a verbal argument. The defendant pushed the complainant with his fist on her upper lip in an attempt to hold her face back, causing pain.
How do you push someone with your fist on the upper lip? I thought that was called a jab punch. And it's quite a nasty move.
Pain. The defendant took the complainant's phone. The complainant used her nephew's phone to call 911.
So this assault is from April, right? And then he has now picked up a new felony case.
Yes.
What happened with that? Please.
So, law
Oh, he's got a
enforcement
felony.
officers
He's got a felony. Sorry.
observed a truck doing a burnout and then drive recklessly into the traffic stop. Where they attempted to a traffic stop. The vehicle evaded before crashing. The defendant was a passenger and surrendered. The driver of the vehicle evaded on foot. The defendant had a warrant for an assault on
This
a
case.
family member, yes, out of court 5. And on a search of the vehicle, or of the defendant, found 0.31 grams of cocaine.
Oof. So he had 0.3 of a gram of cocaine. That's enough for a sniff and a half.
This person.
Okay. Mr. Kozlowski, what do you do? How old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
What do you
Doesn't look like 28. He looks like he's a lot older.
do for a living?
I'm a rigger at Zachary Industrial in Pasadena on Red Bluff.
So you have a full-time job?
Yes, sir. 7 days a week.
How much money you make a month?
About $980 a week. So
Okay. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you, and I'm going to test you like crazy. I'm sending you now for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. Do you understand?
yes, sir, I actually have a to go meet my lawyer for that case right after this.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Who is it?
Don't tell me
Oh,
he's
do you have an appointed lawyer
got the wrong
upstairs?
paper.
Up there?
Yes, sir. His name is,
Got it.
Patrick Stallings.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do, Mr. Kozlowski. I'm sending you for a drug test now. I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. Was he, you said he was the driver or
No, he was the passenger.
he was the passenger?
Yes.
Okay. Do not pick up any new cases. There's a protective order that has been issued in this assault case. Get to know it. Because if you violate any one of those conditions, they're gonna file additional charges against you. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna light you up, you pick up a new case. Or if you test positive for cocaine or anything else, I'm gonna put you in a rehab facility myself. If you can't get away from the demons, I'm gonna force you to do it.
Well, can I say something to the court, sir?
I want
The hell you can't. We want you to shut the fuck up so you don't ruin your case.
you to stop. Use it, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
If you can't, you now.
I'll test positive for marijuana.
Oh, he already knows he's going to test positive for marijuana. The last guy we had would have tested positive for crack. Not ass crack, but yeah.
I understand. I'm not gonna ding you for marijuana. You're doing other stuff, I'm gonna ding you. I'm gonna give you a chance to get clean from the marijuana.
Yes, sir.
But I'm gonna tell you now, you are in the free world now.
Yes, sir.
You have been given the chance to stop yourself. If you are unable to do it, or if you don't want to do it, then I'm gonna force you.
Sir.
And I promise,
Stays in your body for 6 weeks. This judge typically will send someone for a test. They come back with marijuana. He'll wait 30 to 35 days and then retest. I've always thought that's a little bit short. Should be more like 2 months. Oh, totally, man. Totally.
you're not
one
gonna
of
like the
ones.
way that I do it.
Sir.
So it's going to stop one way or the other. We're gonna do this either the easy way, which is your way, or we'll do it the hard way, my way, which you're not gonna like.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm sending you now. I want you to come back. And then we'll get you a reset after that.
What about the other, I have to go to right after this? I have to go
You
straight.
don't have to go to the other court anyways. Your court's set for October.
No, no, I have a message from him. I have to go to,
After you're done with court today,
yeah,
they'll meet with your lawyer.
yeah, he told me I have to go to. All right, that's fine. I'm not, no, I was just asking.
So by 7th of November, if you don't smoke them between now and then, you're not gonna blow red. Can't guarantee you not smoking between now and then because that's a bloody long time.
If you're going to do an errand for us, no one is gonna ding you upstairs
Yes,
for
sir.
it.
Okay,
You understand?
yes, sir.
Okay, so let's send them now and then we'll have them come back. I'm sending him for a drug test right now, and then we'll have him come back. It'll be THA, and then conditions with pretrial, no drugs, no alcohol, no contact, no weapons. All right?
Yes, sir.
We'll have you sign a reset, and then I'm gonna have you sent down for drug test and then come back.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So this what's to bet this guy's got something other than weed in his system? I'm seeing some clues. They're not major obvious ones, but there's been some clues there. He's not just his talking's not like he's just got weed in his system. His talking's like he's got something else.
All right, Judge, next is
A good big cat.
page 12. Macias, come on up.
Hugh's here.
It could be cat. It could be fentanyl, though it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like heroin or meth. I'm going to fall on the fact that he's got a little bit of coke in his system.
Do you have an arraignment?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
For Todd Miller. And he had bonded.
that's no arraignment.
What's that?
Todd Miller's no arraignment.
That's what happened.
Todd Miller's a, frequent flyer.
Oh no. 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 Frequent flyers. We've got one with this lawyer. He's like, it's an arraignment. No, this guy's been arraigned 100 times, if not more.
Todd Miller, come up.
Judge, he
This is the
bonded
one
out.
where we issued the warrant because he didn't come.
No, it was, he picked up the new offense and then he bonded, set bond and then bonded out and then we're gonna have a scram device placed on him.
Okay.
That was from the last court setting.
That's right. I took you into jail because you picked up the new case with the assault against a security guard at the bar where he's allegedly drinking and hooting and hollering, or going into the bar, gets into a pissing match with the security officers. So, right?
I like how the judge told that story. Got into a pissing match with the security officer. Yeah, well, you know who fucking wins those ones, don't ya?
Isn't that it? Right. All right.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly. Cute. But this is not cute, Mr. Miller. You pick up a fourth case, holy moly, I'm gonna light you up. Do you understand? You now have an ankle. Do you have the scram monitor on you now?
Oh, sorry.
You're getting it on today. This thing detects alcohol through your perspiration. Whatever you put in your body, if it has alcohol in it, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Right. This time, I'm going to quadruple the bond. First time, double. Second, quadruple. Third time, 10 times. Do you understand? Don't go to any bars. Don't go to any places like that. Don't consume any illegal drugs. And if you have a problem with anger, get help. Because this is now your third.
How about don't drink alcohol, Judge?
Yeah, this is your third, at least third assault of the case that I see here. No more. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The case is young, right? It's only
Yes.
39 days old?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm ordering you also not to go to any of the places here and not to have any contact with any of the complaining witnesses in any of your cases. As long as you can behave yourself, you're not using, you'll be fine. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, just go ahead, take a seat. We'll wait for pretrial to get to you.
Damn. This guy's scummy.
Briefly, question.
Yeah, please.
I understand that the court requested they say file a MOF on Glaze. The MOF will not be legally sufficient with the charge and allegations, so I won't be able to file them. Bond conditions that the court requested will be filed.
Okay, we'll just do the bond condition, no contact and no weapons.
The guy who's just walking across the screen now, that's Pavel. He's the head prosecutor in the room. So if you want someone to call an absolute bastard, if you're the defendant, he's the guy who's most likely the bastard.
So on Miller Scram, okay, we need to make sure that, okay, yeah. Who's next?
Oh no, Judge is delving into his lorries.
Page 12, let's see it.
can you look at Macias Vega?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you want to do. Take a look at what the magistrate did. I guess, I'm gonna do PC regardless, and I guess we'll see. I know that I can't, but I still would like to know what. I mean, ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated.
Do I like probably 90% of the cases in this court today?
And it appears to me that the magistrate found no probable cause. Understand that theoretically at this point, I don't have jurisdiction against you. The DAs have the decision whether they want to dismiss it or whether they're going to refile it. It's within their right to take it to a grand jury and have it indicted by a grand jury. And then if that happens, which they said they're going to, a warrant is going to issue. So you need to be on the lookout, because even though the magistrate found no PC, they're still going to indict it by a grand jury. I'm just curious as to why they found no PC. Can you read PC, please?
Yes.
So you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine. Okay. All right.
On September 1st, 2024, law enforcement officer.
Hey, stop. Quiet.
Law enforcement officers observed that these vehicles were in and out in multiple lanes without signaling on a feeder or public road in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed slurred speech, glossy eyes, the defendant unable to stand properly.
This judge has told someone before.
I'm going to put you out the next time you talk. Do you understand? I don't care if Jesus asks you anything.
The strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking earlier, but would not elaborate. The Standardfield sobriety test shows 6 out of 6 signs for the horizontal gaze test, 8 out of 8 for walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 for one leg stand. The defendant was read her DIC and consented to a breath test. The results were 0.186 and 0.186 and 0.169. And the defendant.
And the alcohol limit in the US is 0.08. So what they are alleging is the alcohol breath content was well over.
Defendant was ID with her Texas driver's license.
Let me ask you this. Is there any more than just weaving? Because I guess that's fine. Weaving is a conclusory statement.
The reason why they found no PC was because of no address listed in Harris County, Texas for the offense.
No address listed as far as where the offense occurred?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I was no PC. It says it actually on paper.
Okay. So you're actually free to go now. I would probably go and speak to a lawyer, because as they've indicated, they're going to indict it by a grand jury. So when that happens, if it happens, at that point, a warrant will issue for your arrest. And if you don't head it off quick enough, then you're going to end up going to jail. Okay. So you're free to go at this point. No. I mean, the magistrate found no probable cause, so I have no more jurisdiction over you, right? So the only thing that could happen is if they indict it, then at that point, a warrant will issue.
How would I know if it gets indicted?
You're just gonna have to call a bonding company and have them just be on the lookout. Okay, for sure.
I would usually try to summons this first.
Okay. If you get it to me, and let me know, I can have Ramona send, a letter.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I go through some of the anyway, the grand jury, but I'll also have that additional protections sheet.
Okay.
Okay, so this is set to go to precedent with a grand jury. If I was here, I would GTFO, I'd do my research and head to a place that doesn't give a dang what the US wants to do, and won't extradite you to the US. That's what I'd do. I'd just get the fuck right out of there. I wouldn't bother talking to a lawyer. Just get out of there. Make your home somewhere where they can't find you.
Cool. Okay, ready?
Page 13, Marina.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You're also charged with fleeing a police officer. You're also charged up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On August 30th, 2024, law enforcement officers flagged down to report a vehicle stopped in a roadway with the defendant driver passed out on the 1100 block of South Post Oak Road, a public roadway in Harris County, Texas. The law enforcement officer,
Order in the court.
as the law enforcement officer approached with his emergency light activated, then the defendant proceeded to pull the vehicle forward into the intersection, disobeying the.
All good, Zeb. These are long, but they're usually fun. I've only got another, maybe another couple of hours or so, but yeah. It's good being streaming again. I hope to soon simulcast this to YouTube as well as Twitch, but yeah. Get yourself some good sleep, bro.
Red light, the law enforcement officer pursued the defendant for approximately 1 mile with his emergency lights and sirens activated and speeds reaching approximately 45 miles per hour. The law enforcement officer observed the defendant swerving, driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, man. This is... it's probably not bullshit, but man, it's boring. Like, the cop pursued him for a mile with lights and so on. A mile's not that far. 1.6 kilometers. That's not that far. Honestly? I know police chases that have lasted 10, 20, 30 times that, if not more. And they still don't come to a conclusion.
And drive onto the sidewalk multiple times. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant driver and observed that he was the sole occupant of the car. The defendant stated that he was coming from a bar and had 3 lemon drop drinks. The defendant.
3 lemon drop drinks. Bullshit. Lemon drop vodkas he's talking about. That's absolute bullshit. He had more than that.
Rated his intoxication as a 4 out of 10.
Never ask someone who's intoxicated how drunk they are. Never. The guy who is unable to get up off the ground and is puking all over himself will say he's a 1 on the scale of least to most drunk.
And standard field sobriety test showed 6 out of 6 signs for the horizontal gaze test, 3 out of 8 for walk and turn, and 2 out of 4 for the 1-leg stand. The defendant was bred DIC and he consented to a breath test. The results were 0.101 and 0.095. The defendant was identified with his Texas driver's license.
Mr. Marine, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive. Do you understand that? I will have you sign an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. And like I've told everyone else, I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care what you're doing. You cannot justify getting into a car and driving for any reason. You do. I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing 6 months every time you drive. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. How old are you, sir?
25.
What do you do for a living?
I work in operations support service specialist at a credit union.
We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Heed this warning. Do not drive. Do you understand? I'm going to have you come up here, swear test that you're not going to drive. I'll get you to Victoria to sign a reset, and after that, we'll get you out of here. You'll have to meet with pretrial. Hold on a second.
Oh. It's another, yeah. Oh gosh, we got that guy back, have we? All right.
Oh,
let's get him over and done
He went
with.
to the restroom real quick, and he
Oh.
walked back in and just walked right back out.
We didn't
Oops.
release him.
Oh. Maybe he's outside in the hall. I would.
Okay.
But I know you wanted for me to approach regarding bond condition.
No. I just told him no contact with the kids now.
Okay, there is a residential restriction as well. And I want to make sure the state said they got the other address where the two daughters are living,
Okay.
which is separate from
The
the
Moet.
address on
As
the
long as
Moet.
you talk to them, you know that it's not gonna,
We do know that they live somewhere else. I just didn't want to ex parte it to the court, so I was going to wait for defense for that. But we need to modify the MOEP
okay.
because the MOEP has his home address right now, and the two complainants, they live with their aunt.
And I have the address for. So I have actual assistants and clerks that are from the Middle East, Your Honor, and they speak Arabic as well. And half my clientele are from the Middle East. Your Honor.
You have an interpreter here now.
Yes, and I like to do that for the purposes of court and the
Please leave
records.
your message for 5-1.
She's not answering.
The interpreters decided not to answer. What's the bit the interpreter's got it on her phone that not to accept any
Usually like to
unknown
request
numbers?
just for-
Because you have been able to, we'll modify so that he can go back to that house.
Hello?
Ms. Bahat?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Judge Fleischer.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yes, do you mind telling the defendant here that we are going to amend the order for protection so that he can go back to his house because the kids will be living at a different address?
اوكي. هو القاضي دا يقول لك حاليا احنا راح ننفي هذا الامر القضائي اخذناه على مود انت ما تقدر تتعرض للاطفال او يسموه restriction order. فانت راح تقدر تشوفهم بس هم راح يعيشون بعنوان ثاني وهذا هو السبب الوحيد لهالشيء.
You can go to this house, but you may not have contact with the kids at this time.
انت راح تقدر تروح للبيت بس لازم ما يكون عندك اي تواصل ويا الاطفال بس انت تقدر تتواجد بالبيت.
Okay?
تمام؟
Before I let her go, guys, is there anything else that we needed to translate?
Yes, Your Honor. So apparently, his wife who's in court right now, her sister lives in Canada and she's in the later stages of having cancer. And so they're going out to visit. I want to make sure the court knew that. And if
There's
you have
no travel
permission-
restriction.
Okay, just want to
So,
make
and
sure.
would you tell him that there's no travel restriction? The only thing is that he needs to maintain contact with the lawyer.
يقول لك هو انه ماكو اي امر قضائي انه احنا نمنعك من السفر لاي سبب، فانت مسموح لك السفر، بس لازم انت تبقى على تواصل مع المحامي وتخبره بهذه التغييرات اللي تصير.
So this here is the new protective order that we're doing?
I printed the old one and just modified the address with the.
And I initialed.
Okay. So, ma'am, we have a new protective order that we're going to issue. This order has the correct address of where the girls are living.
بيقول هذا الامر القضائي بعدم التعرف احنا غيرناه حورناه وخلينا بالعنوان اللي لازم ما تتواجد فيه اللي هو عنوان اللي راح يعيشون به البنات مو عنوانك. تمام؟
Okay. Okay.
He got lucky.
Okay. Well, good luck and we'll see you soon.
Okay.
He's allowed to go back to his house because the kids are living somewhere else, but he's not allowed contact with them and he's not denied travel. He got real lucky.
Thank you, Your Honor.
بالتوفيق راح نشوفك بعدين.
Okay.
Maybe be excused.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good one.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Judge, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Page 16, Nieto.
You speak English, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nieto, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. It's Abdon. Abdon.
Damn. Right. I'm off camera for a bit, but I'm still here.
2024, a law enforcement officer observed the defendant's vehicle make a U-turn, then accelerate the speed of 70 miles per hour. Texas, the law enforcement officer observed the defendant having to brake suddenly due to the vehicle in front of him, traveling at a normal rate of speed. Making unsafe lane changes, crossing the white safety lines while approaching the freeway on notice. A traffic stop was initiated and the defendant was identified with his Texas driver's license.
Mr. Nieto, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Don't drive crazy, please. Don't say, just don't do it. Just be careful. If I find that this continues, I'll take away your privilege to drive. Living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive blows. If you don't believe me, try not driving for a couple weeks and see how you go, how far you get. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I am now making this a condition of your bond. No more reckless driving, street takeovers, racing, any of this nature. If I find that you do, no more driving. And I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living, sir?
Welder. I'm a welder.
Okay, we're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you take your seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go, sir. When you come back, please have a lawyer.
Right this way. Next, Judge, is page 17. Pippin, come on up.
Case, can you file conditions on that, please? Ms. Pippin? You're Megan Pippin? Ms. Pippin, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On August 22nd, 2024, at approximately 7:58 p.m., law enforcement officers were dispatched to a disturbance at 1713 Bentley Way in Harris County, Texas. The complainant drove the defendant to urgent care. The complainant stated that the defendant is bipolar and was having a mental episode. While driving home, the complainant stated that the defendant pulled her hair or pulled her head down by her hair and was punching the side of the complainant's face. The complainant grabbed the defendant's hair and pulled herself back up. The complainant used her left hand and punched the defendant on the right side of her face in self-defense and to prevent crashing the vehicle.
Who is
What the hell is happening here? It sounds like a cat fight.
the complainant? Is it mom?
The complainant is married to the defendant.
Oh,
That is you? Hey, guys. That's the CW in this case. And you guys want to,
The DB prosecutor's on our way up, so.
okay. There's a specific prosecutor that's coming up and that they're going to interview you here momentarily, okay? Just hang tight. They're going to get your side of the story.
Once they arrived home, the complainant's son observed the defendant pulling the complainant's hair while the complainant was in the driver's seat of the vehicle. The complainant stated that she went into the room where the defendant was going to grab the complainant's phone. The complainant's son stated that he heard the complainant and the defendant fighting and got into the room to separate them. The complainant had a scratch on the right side of her face and a red marking from her hair being pulled on the right side of her head. The defendant had a swollen and bruised right eye and a small laceration.
this wasn't just a little forward and back while driving. This was a full-on cat fight while driving.
Her bottom lip.
Okay. Come up, ma'am. I'd like you to hear this, please. I just want you to hear what I'm going to tell Miss Pippin now. There's no need for you to say anything at this moment. I just want you to hear what's going to happen. Miss Pippin, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Are you supposed to be taking any medication? It's a yes or it's a no.
Yes, I haven't been to the doctor in a while.
Okay, it's time to do that. If you're supposed to be taking medication, I am now making that a condition of your bond. And if you don't do it, guess what happens? Right. I'm going to protect every person in Harris County. And if that means putting you in jail, I'm going to do it in a heartbeat. And I don't care if it hurts your feelings, it makes you upset, you're kicking and screaming going in. I have no problems doing it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
There is a protective order that has been issued on her behalf. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against her. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior, and you cannot be in possession of a weapon. I want you to understand what is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think. I could give a rat's behind what you think. It's how she perceives, Miss Pippin. So look at me. If I go like this, is that threatening or harassing? It most certainly is. Remember, it's what she perceives.
I'm just doing a little bit of cable management. Don't worry about me. But yeah, this was a full-on cat fight while driving. I'm surprised he's not taking the keys.
Not what you think. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs as well. I want to make sure that there's no other substances that you're using that will make more episodes occur. We want you to take the medication so that there are no more mishaps. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to appoint her lawyer today so that she has someone to talk to. But I want to make sure that there are no more episodes. And
Right, after I talk to the.
you don't need to say anything. You know, I want you to know what orders that we have in place so that you never have an issue of safetiness or have any kind of fear. If you do,
She wasn't that sure.
you let us know, and we will take the appropriate action. So if you don't mind hanging tight with me in a second, they're going to have a DA come talk to you here momentarily, okay? You know what's expected of you. You got out of jail because we gave you a PR bond, meaning a free bond. You will not get another one. So if you don't do what you're supposed to, I will take the bond and I'm going to raise it to around $5,000 to $10,000. And if you guys don't have anyone that's going to pony up that money, guess what happens? You will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over with.
There you go.
Do you understand? Good. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, I'm going to have you take your seat in the jury box. We're going to wait to find your lawyer, and I'm going to also have you talk with pretrial for your bond conditions.
Yes.
All right, Judge, page 17 and 18. Richardson, come on up.
She got off lightly. But I have a funny feeling something's not gonna get satisfied with the bond conditions. She's gonna get drugged back in, and she's gonna end up doing something the judge's way. So, yeah.
Richardson.
All right, page 18, Rodriguez, come on up.
All right. No show. That's a warrant.
Arturo Rodriguez. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. You speak English?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, you're charged with racing on the highway.
Oh, God.
Oh. And it's a second racing on the highway.
Fuck. This guy ain't in for a good time today.
You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
On August 31st, 2024, law enforcement officers observed two pickup trucks accelerate high rates of speed from side-by-side positions in an attempt to outdistance each other while on patrol on the 2300 block of Little York Road in Harris County, Texas. The law enforcement officer accelerated to approximately 50 miles per hour in an attempt to keep up with both of the vehicles. A traffic stop was initiated. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant, the driver. The defendant admitted that he was racing with the other pickup truck. The defendant was identified with his Texas driver's license.
Get the other person.
Let me see if he is.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause. You can just check it out and let me know if you find it. I am taking away your privilege to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me right now, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care where you got to go. I don't care what you need to do. If I find
Oh, and cut the attitude, brother.
that you drive, you'll be facing a contempt charge and an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car. Do you understand? I'm also now sending you for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. And then I'm going to have you come right back to me.
Good choice, Judge. This guy's got attitude. He needs to be knocked down a peg or two. And I'm sorry. He should have been slammed for this one. Second case. Not his first, second.
I don't see anyone connected, so I'll ask for them.
Hey, Vic, I'm sending Mr. Richardson or Mr. Rodriguez for a drug test right now. And then we're gonna have him come back. I'm gonna have you come here, swear to me that you're not gonna drive and I'm sending you for a drug test. You must come back. If you
Yeah.
fail to come back, your bond is gonna be so high, your head's gonna split. You understand?
We got Jean Paul back again.
No.
I wonder if he's worked something out.
All right, we're gonna circle back to 17 and 18. Richardson, come on up.
You say Richardson?
Just 17 and
Okay.
18.
Mr. Rodriguez, there. Locate the other person.
Okay.
Yeah, pull your pants up.
Kendrick Richardson.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Richardson, you're charged with 2 counts of assault. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine on each of your cases. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On August 31st, 2024, an officer was dispatched to an assault at the V-Live Club at 6603 Harwood Drive, Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the complainants and the defendant that had moved to across the street in an open parking lot at 6440 Southwest Freeway in Harris County, Texas. The complainants were yelling for help and several males surrounded the defendant. One of the complainants stated that she and her friends were in the club. She observed the defendant, a stranger, touching and pulling on her friend, another complainant. The first complainant observed her friend scoot away from the defendant. The defendant continued to approach the second complainant and continued to touch her body. The second complainant once again moved away. The first complainant, grabbed the second complainant and physically moved her away from the defendant to show him his presence or company was not wanted. The defendant used his hand to grab the second complainant's face and cheek area, pulling her towards him. The second complainant threw a punch at the defendant. The defendant threw her to the ground and punched her several times with a closed fist. The first complainant began to fight the defendant to protect the second complainant. The defendant struck the first complainant several times all over with a closed fist, causing pain. While the first complainant was trying to explain to security what happened, the defendant punched her in the face with a closed fist, making contact with her jaw, causing pain. The first complainant became lightheaded and felt dizzy. The second complainant stated that she was in the club with her friends. The defendant, who was a stranger to the complainants, approached her and began to touch her thigh and leg area. The second complainant stated that she moved away from the defendant. He touched her again and brushed the bottom of her breast. She moved away from the defendant once again. The defendant then grabbed her by her face and cheek, and she punched the defendant once. The defendant grabbed her by the hair and threw her to the ground, ripping her weave from her hair, causing pain. The defendant then began to strike her several times in the face with a closed fist,
Okay. We've got it. He's an asshole.
causing pain. The second complainant stated that she fought the defendant back while she was on the ground. Officers observed injuries on the second complainant's face, spots of red blush/bruising the size of a nickel, a red mark approximately 4 inches long on her shoulder blade, consistent with being thrown to the ground. The defendant stated that nothing happened and he just needed to go home.
Needed to go to jail more like it. There's just too much there not to find probable cause. Whether it's a case of I don't know. That just sounds like a fucking night out on the town to me.
Mr. Richardson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on each of your cases. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go to any nightclubs, bars, or any place where the more than 50% alcohol sales are done. Do you understand?
Sir.
If I find that you violate these conditions, I'm going to put you in jail. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to make your bond so high that you're just going to spontaneously combust. I will do everything in my power to protect every single person of Harris County. Do you understand?
Sir.
No contact with either of these people, no weapons as well. Do you understand?
Sir.
What do you do for a living?
Nothing, sir.
Say that again. You're a boxer. Holy moly. So are these deadly weapons then? Because if they allege it deadly weapons, guess who gets a serious second-degree felony? You're looking at 2 to 20 of the penitentiary on that one, on each of those.
Damn.
You better be careful, Mr. Richardson. Do you understand? What kind of income you make with being a boxer?
Well, I've just started.
You just started.
Allah doesn't work.
So how do you make money? Where do you work?
I work at the port.
He's bullshitting you now. He's bullshitting. And it's not just a small bullshit. It's a big bullshit.
What kind of income you make working at the Port of Houston?
Around 10. I just started, so I'm trying to.
He just started everything. This guy's got some shit in his system and he needs to be found out, Judge.
Trying to get back into the flow of work.
Why'd you stop?
My Twit card. I had lost my Twit card.
This guy's a mess.
Probation or parole right now?
Yes.
Which one? Are you on parole?
Probation.
Where?
Children's County.
Can you run his NCIC, please?
What's the question, Your Honor?
Is he on probation anywhere else? And what for?
This guy can't keep himself clean to save his fucking life. I tell you.
Your Honor, he's not on parole. He's completed his confinement to the robbery. With regards to Children's County, he's on a 4-year probation for harassment started in 2023. That's when he left.
Better be careful, Mr. Richardson. You need a lawyer. One that county figures out you've picked up with 2 assault cases here, you know what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna issue 2 new warrants for your arrest for those, or at least one issue. They will issue 1 warrant for your arrest for the probation that you're on in that county. You're supposed to behave yourself while you're on probation, and when you don't, warrants issued. You want to apply for an appointed lawyer, sir? I'm absolutely serious when I mean protecting the public, Mr. Ritson. I'm going to do everything in my power. You start acting the fool in the free world, I'm going to take the free world away from you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on.
This way, sir. Mr. Richardson. Hold on, she's gonna have you sign for a reset over here. Sir, you'll be able to grab it in a
All
second.
right, Judge, page 21, Villarreal, come on up.
Jean Paul better speak up, otherwise Judge won't know he's there.
Judge, can we hold off on this one? Dixon and the prosecutor are speaking in the back about this case, so I will. I don't bring them up.
I mean, we have to do probable cause regardless, you know?
I'll bring it up. You can just leave it up.
Okay.
The tat on her arm. Looks like we got ourselves a bad girl here.
No, Judge?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Dixon.
Good morning, Your Honor.
How did you already get appointed on this?
Because I represented her on a current criminal trespass case.
Oh, she has an open case now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bingo.
Miss Villarreal.
Yeah. Uncross your arms, bitch.
No bueno. You've now picked up an assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Okay?
The complainant and defendant are in a former dating relationship and they share 1 child. On August 30th, 2024, law enforcement was dispatched to an arson call. The complainant's brother received a text message from the defendant telling him that she was coming to the house. The complainant's current girlfriend received a motion alarm on the Ring camera, and they went outside to observe the defendant pouring lighter fluid onto the complainant's vehicle.
But
yes, Judge, and attempting to set fire to it with a cigarette lighter. The complainant went outside to confront the defendant, and during their confrontation, she slapped him across the face, causing pain.
Fucking girlfriend of the year. The other party's just douche canoe, but this is girlfriend of the year.
So no attempted arson, I guess?
Correct, Judge. I'm not sure why they didn't accept any charges on that, but this is the only charge.
So, but ultimately for this case, she slapped him in the face.
Yes, Judge. And there are also at least 2 other witnesses.
Okay, Ms. Villarreal, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with this case. Did you want to say something, Mr.
Yes,
Davis?
sir, Your Honor, if I may. With all due respect, Judge, I had spoken with the client and I'm at liberty to say this. She's given me permission to say it. As you can see, my client here has a swollen eye here. She did not do that herself. It's my understanding that the complaining witness in this case here, the assault case against her, the complaining witness in this assault case against her is the person who is alleged to have assaulted this young lady and caused her to have a black eye.
Okay.
In fact, she told me that she was the one that was assaulted by him.
I mean, you have two witnesses that say something else. All I know, Ms. Villarreal, is you're on bond for criminal trespass. You picked up a new case. Guess what happens now? Guess. Right. Guys, she goes with you.
Thank you, Judge.
She goes with you. Bingo. Get her out of here.
Have fun. Enjoy the trip.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Can you watch my shoulder? I have a bruise on my shoulder.
I'll be back to talk to you.
Oh, man. Ruthless, I tell you. Jean Paul wanted none of
That
that.
glass of Raymond? Oh, for the love of Pete.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Not more.
Page 22.
Okay.
Walter, come on up.
Come on up, Mr. Walker.
He's walking all right.
Good morning, sir.
What's he flapping his arm about while he walks?
Ready? Mr. Walker, you're charged with resisting arrest.
He's laughing. He's on drugs.
You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
August 31st, 2024, law enforcement officers were dispatched to 401 East Humboldt in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a suspicious person. The law enforcement officer made contact with the witness. The witness stated that the defendant was walking down the street and appeared to be
Arturo
doing
Rodriguez?
something. The witness stated that the defendant started making hand gestures that he was holding an imaginary gun and shooting towards the witness's house. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant. The law enforcement officer informed the defendant not
Finger guns, baby.
to be on the road while intoxicated and to leave the neighbors alone before departing the scene. The law enforcement officer was later dispatched in reference to a barking dog and observed the defendant walking in the middle of a roadway. The law enforcement officer and Mark's patrol unit activated his lights and sirens and attempted to stop the defendant. The defendant continued walking away. The law enforcement officer approached and attempted to arrest the defendant. Defendant began tensing his muscles, pulled away from the officers and began to resist. The defendant was taken into custody after being taken to the ground.
That's all over finger guns. Really? Just because. Finger guns.
The defendant later attempted to headbutt the law enforcement officer as he was unbuckling the defendant. The defendant was identified with the previous booking photo.
What was he under arrest for?
So
Just walking down the street?
Yeah,
How do you know he's intoxicated?
yeah, so it shows that, I guess the police
He's under arrest for finger guns, I guess.
were dispatched to a barking dog incident and they saw the.
He's walking while black.
Yeah, he was walking in the middle of the roadway.
All right. These fuck all probable cause.
No. Again, it's walking down the road, just barking dogs, boom. He's, no, I'll find no probable cause. Mr. Walker, be careful where you're walking, man. People are always against you. You start acting a fool out there in the free world or start scaring people, it's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Just go ahead, take a seat for me momentarily, please. All right. What?
Page 19, Taylor, come on up.
Good morning, Miss Taylor. Do you have a lawyer today, ma'am? Yeah, I need hair. Tell me what you're doing about that.
Well, when I left here last time, you informed me on everything I needed to do. I now have to take a class that I've already have paid for. It starts next week. The violation.
It's going to go to the end of the arraignments, and that shouldn't be too far away.
And when I was calling for lawyers, it was
No, ma'am. This is your Adrena Taylor, right? You're charged with the DWI. I mean, you're supposed to have a lawyer here today. Have you?
Afford an attorney. And when I called up to the court clerk after I left you, she said that there's nothing I can do. I have to wait to come to see you to ask for.
Did you speak to any lawyers?
Yes, there were.
How many did you speak to?
Oh, I got several in the mail. I mean, tons.
I know you get a lot of mail, but did you call any?
Yes, I did. And I got quotes that were out of my pay range and I just couldn't afford it.
So do you work, ma'am?
Yes.
What do you do for a living?
I still work for the
You work for the airport. And how much money do you make a month?
$3,000 before taxes and everything and health insurance and everything is taken out.
I can give you an application. I need to know everything about you. I need to know what your true income is. Are you married?
No.
Who do you live with?
My parents take care of my mom.
Okay, I need to know the household income because that's what it's based on. I'll take a look at the application. I'll see if you qualify, but I don't know. I mean, if you work full-time, you're living at house with your mom and your dad, there's no expenses. I don't know if you're going to qualify, but I'll take a look. Okay. If you might, please. Okay. Mr. DeGeiger, you ready? Come on. I know you've been waiting a while. Yeah, are you ready? Okay. On Kenneth Green, are you guys ready for a plea? Give me the sign. Oh, yeah, bring him up now. Okay, come up, Mr. Green.
All right, it seems that we have got out of the arraignments. There were a few questionable ones today. Unfortunately, I can't really hang around a lot. I need to run a vacuum through this place. It's a dust bunny of a place. And yeah, I just figured it's worth doing this. Once it's finished processing, I'm gonna export it over to YouTube, so it's a VOD over there, and it'll probably be released. I am looking at Tuesday or Thursday, depending. I will keep doing the live streams here, although YouTube does have the audience. If I can do it on YouTube, I will. Otherwise, I'll do it here. If I can afford to pay for the fee to get dual streaming happening again, then I'll be doing it in both places on the same time. It will not be when I release videos, so don't worry about that. that being said, have a good one. I will catch you